Today I will study about chemical shift. Chemical shift is the shift in position of PMR signal of a particular group of protons relative to the signal for TMS. That is known as chemical shift. So different kinds of protons, they absorb at different fields because they are experiencing different amounts of shielding or deshielding. So we can express them in the terms of nu or H naught. Generally we plot applied field versus energy, but in case of chemical shifts we express these shifts in terms of frequency. So nu is directly proportional to H given by the formula. So if nu is more, H naught would be more, and vice versa. In the signal shown in the picture, TMS signal is on right hand side. Left hand side there are two small signals for imaginary groups of protons. So the difference in position of TMS to the say CH3 group I had shown in the picture. So this difference is measured at delta nu, that is chemical shift. The decrease in the value of frequency is, say if it is 100 Hertz, when we measure, when we are using spectrophotometer of 60 megahertz. So we'll write this as chemical shift is equal to delta nu upon nu, that is equal to shift is 100 Hertz, the signal is behind TMS signal by 100 Hertz divided by 60 megahertz. Then we convert it into Hertz by multiplying 60 by 10 raised power 6. So the value comes out to be 1.66 into 10 minus 6. So to remove the fractional value of 10 raised minus 6, this value is multiplied by 10 raised power 6. So for chemical shift we have expressed it in terms of ppm, means parts per million. So this is used, this value is measured in ppm so that we may equate the values, or we may use the values which have been measured on different spectrometers of 40 megahertz, 60 megahertz, 100 megahertz. So it is free of any units. So chemical shift is measured in ppm, parts per million. Okay. Then coming to their scales, there are two scales used to express the chemical shifts. That is, first is delta scale, represented by this alphabet delta, and second is tau scale, which is 10 minus delta. So then in the lower figure I had shown two scales. First, in the first line, divisions have been made for delta scale. Delta scale is, here we start from, we assign the value 0 for TMS signal, and on the left hand side, when we move to the left hand side, 10 marks are made, and it extends from 0 to 10, rather minus 10. Minus 10 means that the value of field goes on decreasing when we move to the left hand side. On the lower side, left hand side, extreme left, we had written low field, or this is down field, called down field. On the right hand side, where field is high, high field or up field. Then two arrows have been made that on low field only those protons give the signal which have been deshielded. So deshielded protons give signal at down field, whereas shielded protons would give signal at up field or high field. Upper arrow is for shielded protons whose values come at right hand side. So second scale is, this means the delta scale would represent, if the value of delta is more, it means then we'll say shielding is less, or the protons are deshielded. We say deshielding is more. Delta scale, higher value of delta scale represents more deshielding. If the value of delta is 1, 2, 3, close to 0, then there is less shielding, rather there is more shielding. Then coming to the tau scale, here the maximum value 10 is assigned to TMS signal. When we proceed to the left hand side, 9, 8, 7, 5, 6 till 0. So again this extends from 10 to 0, starting from right to left. So in case of tau scale, it has two representation of the field. Here we'll say if the value of tau is low, if it is 0, 1, 2, 3, then there is less shielding, and if the value is maximum, there is more shielding. So with respect to shielding, it is true scale. Then coming to the delta scale can be calculated. If the value is given in delta scale, it will be calculated as before. That is, I told you delta nu upon nu into 10 raised power 6. So delta nu is observed shift in hertz divided by nu is radio frequency used. Again it is to be taken in hertz. If it is given in megahertz, we have to put frequency given in megahertz into 10 raised power 6 multiplied by 10 raised power 6 to remove the fractional value. So TMS signal is at the 0 delta value. Then coming to tau scale. For tau scale, we can calculate the value if delta value is given. So tau is equal to 10 minus delta, means if the value of delta is 2, the value of tau is 10 minus 2, that is 8. So if one scale is known, the value in other scale can be calculated.